Hi, welcome to another episode of Mom Does It All. If you're looking for encouragement, empowerment, and uplifting in motherhood and mompreneurship, this is a show for you. I'm your host, Marta Spurk, triplet mom, certified success coach, and all things motivation extraordinaire. In this episode, I'll be talking about how being attached to something you want in the future can make you fail to appreciate the now, and how this is what I realized I've been doing with my business. I also share about my 30-day challenge, All of Me Loves All of Me, that I'll be starting next week, and I am so excited for you to join us. Let's get right to it. I have to continue talking about what's been happening with the Brazilians that have been reaching out to me. It's definitely something that I was not expecting, and I said this a few times, I think, in the last few episodes of how interviewing Flavia was not my intention when I invited her to be on the show to reach the Brazilian audience. It really wasn't. And it turned out to be this, and I've been talking to several of these Brazilians, even some Brazilians that live in the U.S. and understand English, but are telling me that I really need to have this message in Portuguese to reach more people. And so I decided to recover an old Instagram account that I had created for Portuguese when I was doing fitness stuff, and I started posting on there, and the feedback has been amazing. And one of the things that I was talking about with this precious lady that I've been talking to, she's not even a mom, and she resonated with my message, and we've been exchanging messages back and forth. And that's what I love so much about this space, is that once you don't focus so much on how much money you're making and, if your business is growing, if it's a 6-figure business or whatever, and you just really focus on connecting with people and helping them, things grow. And now I have to be completely honest with you and say that I have been able to detach myself more from this, because my interpreting job has been going so well, and I was not expecting that. And it just feels so much more natural than what I'd been doing before with coaching. Even though it's been helping me personally, it has been stressful. It's been something that has been bringing me stress ever since I started it. And that's why I switched vision so many times, because it was almost like I was forcing something. Whereas interpreting and the language thing for me is natural. I don't feel insecure. I don't feel afraid or nervous. I mean, a little bit, depending on the situation when I go to court and it's something more serious. But for the most part, when it comes to the knowledge of the language, that's something that flows naturally for me. It's not hard. And I didn't want to revert back to that. For one, because I wanted to do something different, and because I couldn't have done what I'm doing now before when the kids were not in school. And so now that I have been doing that very steadily, and things are showing up even more and more with time as I get known here in the community and in the city, and people reach out to me and they, ask me to do jobs in other companies and things like that. I'm even looking into starting to interpret for immigration courts, which is a whole other beast in itself because it's federal and not state, and I'm doing state for now. And I'm making so much more money than I ever did with coaching. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I want to share my journey with you and encourage you in some way with my story and with what's going on with me. And this came to light when I was talking to this beautiful woman that has reached out to me. And I keep wanting to say beautiful mama, but she's not a mom. She really reinforced what I have been talking about, that so many times we get focused on the one thing that we want so bad that it's almost like we're forcing the how of how that thing needs to happen. And my vision has been that I want to help people, that I see myself in front of crowds, and especially women, encouraging and empowering them and empowering moms, and looking into public speaking and growing my coaching. And I didn't know exactly how that was going to look, and I was just trying to make it work one way or another. And now that I kind of detached myself from that a little bit, because I got frustrated that things weren't moving as fast as I wanted them to move, things are happening, but in a different way, which is reaching the Portuguese speaking audience. Like, the feedback that they've been giving me, for real, is what I was expecting to get from the English speaking audience. And even though the show has been doing great and I have, lots of downloads and people listening to me, I don't get the engagement. People don't respond to my stuff online. They do. There is engagement, but not as much as the Brazilians have been lately. Like, the excitement is so much greater, and there is something in there. And I wasn't expecting that. And to be honest, I wasn't really wanting that. That's why I didn't go that route, because I figured I would just do stuff here in the US in English because that's where I live. And, but a huge part of this whole journey of, appreciating now, loving the now, is understanding that you can still want more, but you can't be attached to the more. You have to be grateful for the now, and that's going to bring you more. Because when you're so attached to what you still want, it's like you live every waking moment trying to control your reality so that it'll give that thing to you. Whereas if you just let it go and trust the process and remain grateful, that thing will somehow make its way to you. And that's the beauty of it. You're not controlling it. And how much more of a surprise is it that when it happens, you were wanting it, but it's almost like you weren't expecting it, because it's not like you were depending on it for your happiness. Does this make sense? Please let me know if this resonates with you. And while I was talking to this woman and we were talking about that, I started having like this vision of planting a tree. I don't know why this came to mind, but I thought that was just a beautiful analogy. And, I love stories and analogies, and I think like we learn so much better like that. And I started thinking about how, let's imagine you really, really want an apple tree and you want to be able to eat that apple. If you plant that tree today, you plant that seed, or even if it's, a little small tree, and you just put a chair or a tent in front of it, and you start living there and watching that tree day in and day out, and you just sit there and you wait for that thing to grow until it gives you apples. How miserable will your life be if you just sit there waiting for that thing to happen, instead of doing other things with your life, enjoying your time, enjoying your family? And this even makes me emotional, because how many times do we do that? We want something so bad that we forget to appreciate the other things going around us. And here's the kicker. Even if you sit there for years waiting for that tree to grow, it's not going to make it grow any faster. It's going to bear fruit when it bears fruit. And we can learn so much from nature. You can't speed things up in so many different ways. You can't speed up the development of a baby inside of you, and you can't speed up your growth as a human being. There are things that you can do to help yourself, but for the most part, you just have to stay the course and to live your life and to be grateful for what's going on around you until you reach the thing that you're waiting to reach. But somehow you have to be able to not be so attached to that outcome and to that result, because this is what makes you unhappy right now, because you're looking so much forward to that thing that you're not appreciating what you already have. And now I see that this is what I have been doing for almost 3 years with this business, is I was just sitting, looking at it, waiting for it to become something that I would be so proud of, and I was failing to appreciate what was going on around me. And now I am actually receiving the thing that I have been waiting for so long, which is this feedback and this excitement about the things that I have to share, but they're not happening the way I thought they were going to. I really thought that I was just going to, grow this here locally or even in the US, and no. The Brazilians need my help. And they're giving me this feedback. They're showing me that they're interested, and I can't ignore that. And it's not I wasn't expecting this, and I wasn't wanting it. Like I told you, I was trying to force how this was going to manifest, and that's not how it works. Because when you force it, it's just stressful, and it feels like you're spinning your wheels, and it's just not how it goes. So I wanted to share with you this today because I thought that vision of the tree was just so powerful, and that's how we live most of our lives, is just sitting there watching this thing and wasting our lives away. And another thing that I wanted to share with you today is that one of the things that this whole connection with Brazilians has created is that I wanted to start creating an offer for them in Portuguese with my programs. And I have been loving the group dynamics with the Happy Mommy. But I didn't know if I was going to open up another group for the Happy Mommy. So it's still going. You can still participate if you want to. But for the month of June, I wanted to try something different. And it's because I'm trying to gear this towards the Brazilians. But I figured I already have most of the content in English. It wouldn't be that hard for me to do it in English and in Portuguese. So I posted a few days ago that I wanted to do a challenge for the month of June. So for anyone that is interested in this topic of self-discovery and self-esteem and creating your own happiness and really self-love and self-worth, I wanted us to do a challenge of 30 days together in the month of June, starting on Monday. And I wanted to make this extremely accessible, so it's going to be even cheaper than the Happy Mommy, obviously, because it's less time. So it's just 30 days for $49. You can join me. And we're going to be going through every single day. We're going to have prompts and videos and worksheets. So I'm going to be taking some of the stuff from the Happy Mommy, but it's going to be more focused on self-worth and self-love. But it's still going to be super heavy on self-discovery and self-reflection, because that's what I'm all about. So even though we're going to be doing things daily inside the Facebook group, you're still going to have the platform where the course will be, for you to access it even after the 30 days are gone. And so the first week, I want to focus on this self-discovery. So we're going to be looking into the Enneagram test. We're going to be talking about our results. We're going to be looking a little bit more into our own beliefs and stories, and even our feelings and the judgments that we have for ourselves. And then on the second week of the month, I want to focus more on forgiveness and gratitude. This is something that we're tapping into the Happy Mommy this week, and it's so powerful because, and I talked about this before, when my parents came to visit earlier this year, that was something that has been really strong in my heart about, as I learn more about myself, I understand others better, and I get to appreciate them and forgive them, and also forgive myself and appreciate myself. It's a beautiful journey, and it really goes hand in hand with self-discovery. So this is going to be our second week in June. For our third week, we'll be focusing on self-empowerment. So once you know yourself, then you get to celebrate yourself and understand your weaknesses, your strengths, and look back into your achievements, see how awesome you are. And then for our final week, we'll be tapping into transformation, into looking into the future, into the things that you still want to accomplish, but also keeping in mind that you have to be happy with now and present in the now. So this is what we'll be working on. The name of the program, or this challenge, is called All of Me Loves All of Me, which is totally inspired by John Legend's song. He's like amazing, and I love him. And of course, he has a song called All of Me Loves All of You. And I even invite you to go listen to that song and pretend like he's singing it to himself, or that you would be singing that to yourself. Because how powerful is it if you were able to tell yourself that, even when you're crying, you're beautiful, all your curves, all your imperfections, whatever it is, you get to love everything about you if you choose to. And while we may think that self-love is so obvious, because why wouldn't I love myself? That's not the reality. It's not so obvious, and it's not so easy. But because we think it's so obvious and so easy, we fail to pay attention to the fact that we don't truly love and accept ourselves until you get to know yourself. If you don't really know yourself, you can't love yourself, period. There is no way around it. I mean, and I think about this when I look at my kids' baby pictures. I look back and I think, I loved them a lot, but I didn't really know them as much as I know them now and their personality. I love them even more now. And I wish I could have loved them more back then and go back in time and be like, you're amazing. But I couldn't have because I hadn't been around them as much as I have now. And it's the same thing with you, except you've been living with yourself for years. There's so much of you that you don't know. Why not dig into this and look into it? And this is my invitation for this 30-day challenge. I mean, can't you spare 30 days for yourself? Can't you commit to 30 days for yourself with a group of other women, like-minded women that are wanting to go through this process together, So I'm super excited about that too. This is another thing that I wanted to share with you today, that I want you to participate with me. You've been listening to me for a while. You're excited about the show. You're always hopping on. Why not work together? It's only going to be a month. It's only $49 because I had to put a price on it because I will be using my time to create content and to share with you my knowledge. And this is something that comes to mind when I interviewed Kristen Nicholson here on the show. And I just love her and how upfront and blunt she is. She said, if you were to find stuff online and Google stuff online, you're going to spend so much time and it's not going to be something direct. Because how easy is it for you to get sidetracked and lost online? When somebody compiles information for you and brings it to you, that's worth something. They invested some of their time and their knowledge. And this is what I have been doing here. I mean, you've been listening to this knowledge for free on the podcast. So I just had to put a price on it. $49 is super affordable. It's something that you probably would spend on a small shopping spree at Target. Am I right? So I will put the links here in the show notes for you to join me. It'll be fun. Something for you to do in the summer, now that the kids are probably off school, if yours are older and you're most likely losing your mind. This is something to kind of help you get centered, create that daily practice of checking in the group and doing the assignments, getting to know yourself. I'm super excited about it because especially coming from doing all the fitness groups. So this is kind of like the idea that I had because when I still do the Beachbody programs and the workouts, but my focus has been more on this motivational coaching. But every month we think about, okay, what's the program that we're going to do? And the ladies that are still working out with me, we talk about our meal plans, we talk about the workouts, and it really helps to have somebody else to talk to and be like, oh, I skipped today, or, oh, I did it today and it was super fun. If you're still going to do it, I encourage you. And that one move sucked, but I pulled through. It's fun to have someone to talk to about things, even if it's not to just share, but to complain, to have that sounding board. And this is what we're going to be creating with this All of Me Loves All of Me challenge. And I so hope to see you there. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And did you resonate with my analogy of the tree? Have you been doing the same with some area of your life? I would love for you to reach out and let me know what you thought. And also, don't forget to check out this 30-day challenge, All of Me Loves All of Me. I will put the link in the show notes. I would so love for you to join me, for me to get to know you. If you've been listening to me for a while and we haven't worked together yet, or if I haven't talked to you yet, this is your chance. Let's do it. Until next time, bye.